Yeah. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. April 28th, man. Month is almost done. Hope you guys having a good start to the new week, a good end to the last week. We are juiced up. That's a little orangey grass flavor. Pretty decent slate to like. It's not too many games, right? 6 on the main, couple on the pre-show, the dark matches. Should be easy to chop up, man. What's up, Cujo? What up, Andy? What up, G Money? Conscious, Lone Wolf. You guys doing all right? Oh, we're gonna kind of jump into it, and I did everything but open up the spreadsheet. Apparently, hello. There it is. There she blows. What's up, RC? How we living? I was solid Sunday. I didn't get to watch a lot of baseball yesterday. I had wrestling yesterday. But then when I came home to catch up, there's a lot of things I was like, huh? What? That happened? What the freak? Baseball. Isn't it glorious? What up, Edwin? Hope everybody doing all right. Yeah, let's jump into it. I'll save the plugs for later. We'll just get some lineups in, research done. My phone been blowing off the hook today. All right, there's 2 games on this. I call it middle slate. We'll chop them up just because we can, but this one's about to start in like 2 hours. Frustrating Sunday to be a man. Yeah, basketball, dude. Like I said, I've been checked out of basketball this year, but I saw the Damian Lillard situation. Oh, dude, that would suck, dude. Dame might be like, I'm a Westbrook stan. Don't ask me why, but I just love Westbrook. But Damian Lillard just seems like cool dude. That's kind of heartbreaking. Then of course that shifts the balance of that organization, assuming they let that be the straw that broke the camel's back on going ahead and hitting a reset button. So that could be a insane shift in the timeline. That's rough, man. Mets got a 5.5 run total. Nationals 4.2. What up, Don? I feel like Pistons are one of those teams that are currently playing on house money, right? Like, you're excited that they make it, but come on, you didn't have real expectations. So you get to kind of enjoy pressure-free playoffs. Don't be tooing up too long, you know. Griffin Canning pitching for the Mets. Trevor Williams for the Nats. 23.4% carry rate on Canning. A 1.4 whip. Essentially going to the beginning of last year. And most of the numbers are pretty similar this year to last year. I guess he's increased a little bit of walk rate to righties. Added some ground ball rate. But his xFIP is down to both sides of the plate since last year, and the 12% swing and strike rate just kind of hangs on to that 23% carry rate. So interesting numbers there. The Nationals, this confirmed lineup, just a 19% aggregate K rate against right-handed pitching since the beginning of last year. So not a high upside spot, but if you're thinking about Griffin Canning today, it's typically in the context or a 1 or 2 game slate. And compared to Bailey Ober and Gavin Williams, I guess those two could arguably be in better spots individually. So maybe, but at 9K, I think Trevor Williams got to be fourth on the 2-game pitching or totem pole. I think you consider him, and you really just don't have a value system for pitching on the 2-game slate. So your normal, I don't love this spot, 9K is too much, whatever. I don't really think that exists here. That's a Fanduel 9K. It's a DraftKings 8K. You're just hoping for positive points. So typically in the pool because of that. Weather looks fine out there in Nats Park. So let's go Mets offense, Griffin Canning, and then Nats offense. And Trevor Williams, he's just a pure contact guy against a talented Mets team on paper. But man, the Mets have had we talk about rough. The Nationals have kind of really been scrappy in a lot of spots and really played spoiler. This version of the Mets lineup, okay. It comes down to Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and kind of falls off the cliff, but there's still good talent in the bottom half. They're just not as consistent as yesteryears. Nimmo, Alvarez, and McNeil could certainly be a fun three-man lane here. So yeah, Mets offense, Griffin Canning, Nats. That's how we're running that. Let's go run pitcher projections just to do it. Give Canning a 23% K rate. Reva. So 19%. What up, Power? You like James Wood and Francisco Alvarez? Yeah, James Wood's a monster, dude. Griffin Canning, so far this season, his home run problem to lefties has been non-existent, but I don't know that the season's long enough. Philly. What's these? I mean, there's Jordan. Not a super lefty slugger I'm scared of. Athletics do have a couple. Soderstrom, Lars Nootbaar, and then of course Harper and Schwarber for Philly. So he's kind of avoided some landmines, but still a guy that has it in his DNA. But the 12% increase in ground ball rate is interesting for him. But yes, James Wood's just been pretty good. Nats bullpen still, projects as one of the worst in baseball. So Mets get that quality 9 innings. Walk rate for Griffin. Let's go. Give him 10%. Trevor, we'll go 6. And let's go get a out projection. Jesus. What up, Ayo? How we live, man? I just earned runs. 16.5 and 15. Nothing to see here. All right, we'll keep it moving. Oh, chat, by the way, thank you guys. We got the whole monetization thing is back on. It technically from start to finish took us a month, but the review processes can sometimes take longer. Like, could have been longer, but we got eligible for the review process like a week and a half ago. So it really only took us 3 weeks till that YouTube was like, okay, cool, yeah, that community is back and banging. So I'm not gonna on these day streams, I'll probably still listen to this music even though it's copyrighted, but on the night streams for a little bit of ad revenue, we'll probably have some either safer music or no music. I probably want some music, but yeah, shout out to you guys. And then I'll have to brainstorm some like channel membership rewards. So I didn't launch those yet. I'm thinking just Discord access. is simple enough. Yeah. Twins with a 4.1 run total. Guardians 4.6 run total. What up, Jesse? Twins throwing Bailey Ober up against Gavin Williams. Looks like we got a little wind blowing to center. Wind blowing to center, 10 miles an hour. So let's give it a weather boost. And still, let's rank it out. Over this season, his overall K rate has diminished from last 2 seasons, but he's still there on the swing and strike rate. And do the stuff plus a sign. $95, so he's 5% below average, right? So stuff plus isn't necessarily on his side, but man, that location plus is. So all right, this version of the Guardians lineup in the projected strikes out 21% of the time, but it's really half and half in terms of guys who don't strike out and guys who do. Nolan Jones, Kyle Manzardo, Bo Naylor, and Gabriel Arias, those guys can strike out close to an aggregate 30%, while the rest of the lineup strikes out 17% or less. So it's pretty centralized on who might strike out and who might not. So I'm probably not going to put Bailey first on the interest ranking here. And looking at Gavin Williams, he's got closer to a sustained 24% K rate. That's been what it was last 2 years. So neither pitcher's going to be a fun click, but on this 2-game slate, you got to click them, right? You got to just take who doesn't implode and impede. Yo, Lone Wolf, $5. Appreciate that. I guess I need to set up alerts too. Bang bong. Did anything come up when you did that? Let me see. Let me see if I have an alert box. What happens now? Oh, yeah, I gotta change that, bro. That's like the basic of basic. Jesus. Appreciate that, Lone Wolf. $5 for buy me a juice. Let's go. Twins run total 4.1, Guardians 4.6. No matter what on this early slate, the Mets project 1. I'm just trying to put a number 2 here. I think the Nats are kind of scrappy, but this win might be getting undervalued. Let's see, and we've seen Byron Buxton kind of come alive lately with a string of power. And if he's gonna get a little help from the wind and progressive, it might help neutralize some of these generally bad ballpark factors for him. So if anything, the wind maybe just neutralizes all that together. So I guess we got to go pitchers first and then we go offenses. I'm gonna go Bailey Ober first, then Gavin, but it's no warm and fuzzies, and then Twins extra inning, and then Guardians pretty focused. That's how we get there. That's an ugly early game slate. You guys that are grinding those slates, you guys are psychotic, bro. You guys get some help. I'll give him a 21.5% K rate. Mr. Ober, Gavin Williams. We'll get to 24. Walk rate for Ober. 7%. Mr. Gavin. 11%. See what Vegas has on outs. 17.5. Little steam on the over, not a lot. 17.5. So we'll go 17.5 on both. Buy your protein shake. Yeah, dude. I've had my second one of the day, bro. There's this store in my town that just opened up like a month ago. It's called Natural Grocers, and it's kind of like an Aldi's, but everything in it is like organic and nature and stuff. And I've been getting this company called Rebel. Now these only have like 20 grams of protein, I like to get like 40 grams of protein a shot, so I sometimes drink 2 of them. But man, this crap comes with like ashwagandha, maca root, I don't know, it's just been really good. So I tend to, right now my meal replacement is basically one of these and one of these, but sometimes I'll drink 2 of these just to get to 40. And yeah, that'll do it. Let's go. We had some wrestling yesterday, so my body is I didn't actually wrestle though, so, but I was still there all day. My old man body cramping up, even though I was on a gallon of water all day. Let's go get your projections for that one. Open it up in the spreadsheet. Over Gavin, Griffin, Trevor. Let me make sure we got all the QSs out. We don't. So Gavin Williams actually came out on top of the projections. Most strikeout projections. Overs behind him, then Canning, then Trevor. A lot of walks implied here. Both Griffin and Gavin over 1.5. Yeah. And then early afternoon stack rating. Let's get that up. Weather's been good though. It's got this constant, feels like it's about to rain atmosphere pressure, never does, and it just makes the humidity go crazy and you're just sweating. Like 80 degrees and cloudy every day. All right, that's our look at our early slate. Nothing really pops at me as far as anything. Now if we go back and try to cherry pick the hitters that pop out the most against the starters, clearly lefties against Trevor Williams, the Lindor, Peter Soto against Trevor look good. For Canning, he's been allowing a lot of power to righties. That's not really the Nats forte, but that dude at least got a spotlight. Dylan Cruz, man, he is flourishing lately. Just kind of insane what he's done in his last week of work. Essentially giving you almost a hit a game outside of just one game in the last like 10 games. And then we've seen a little bit of power lately. Maybe he could tap into those positive righty splits. So it's not necessarily just James Wood that can go Yabo here. Dylan Cruz can make something happen, but that's about it. If I had to lean on a righty to surprise us with a bomb, and then you just kind of scrap it on talent. Ober weaknesses, giving up homers to both sides of the plate. I mean, you know, with the Guardians, we kind of lean on Quan, J-Rem, and Manzardo for your hitter strikeout. Over striking out lefties 20%, 2+ home run per 9. Again, the park plays better for lefties and righties. It could be a spot for Manzardo and J-Rem to slam into one. And then Gavin Williams has been really susceptible to righty talent, and Byron Bucks has been kind of coming alive here. So those are kind of names that stand out just in the surface level preview of those 2 games. Let's get on to the main slate. We don't have a ton of lineups yet, but you know, they start dribbling out. Will Warren towing the slab against Tomoyuki Sagano. Yankees have a 5.1 run total. Orioles have a 4.6 run total. Sagano's been not great. 8% K rate, 7% swinging strike rate, 11% barrel rate. All that is bad. Not what you want, particularly his righty splits. At least against lefties, we do get a little bit of high ground ball rate, even though he's still giving up a 2+ home run per 9. But against righties, the average goes up, the K rate goes even further down, and the xFIP is up there as well. And then the Orioles bullpen has been beatable as well. So you gotta like the Yankees here. and I think they go number 1 on the interest ranking. That 5-run total. Will Warren, man, I don't. Maybe I'm just a hater, but I feel like him and Carlos Carrasco every 5 days. I'm just like, yeah, they should get smacked. They should get blown up. They should, and then they don't. Then they don't. And I'm just like over here like betting against my own team. And for what? For what? So I feel like I'm hating. But you look at Will Warren's game log, and you look at his strikeout rate, and you look at his swing and strike rate, and we're like 8% swing and strike rate against Cleveland, a 2% against Tampa, and 8% against Pittsburgh. And 3 of the 5 games so far, not really that good as far as inducing swing and strikes. But the xFIP is kind of on his side in those games. 2.7 xFIP against Cleveland. He did have a 6.3 against Tampa, a game where he had double-digit swing and strike rate. 3.25, 3.04. So kind of all over the place. The hard contact rate is up there as well. So I'm not really sure how I feel about Will Warren. Of course, I want to root for him, but I just don't believe that the single-digit swing and strike rate and the close to 10% barrel rate is something that's going to fly more often than not in the American League East. And he also has an incredible problem with throwing strikes to lefties. And this Orioles lineup, assuming they go back to normal, will be pretty lefty heavy with a couple switchies that can bat lefty, namely one switchy, Adley. I don't know why I said couple, which would tap into that. So I'm gonna stick to my not in love with Will Warren slot machine and expect, if not a season ERA decline, there's got to be an implosion game where at least one game goes bad with those type of contact profiles. So Orioles would be second on my interest ranking here. Now behind Will Warren is the Yankees bullpen that has been good, but yesterday had to play a couple games. Fernando Cruz threw 20 pitches, Leader 16 pitches, Luke Weaver 11 pitches. So Weaver would be available today for sure. I don't know that we've seen Cruz pitch in back-to-back games, and Cruz is really good. And if they did get through Warren, it would probably mean a crooked number anyway. What would they do with that? They would probably put a long reliever like a Ryan Yarbrough or somebody like that out there. And I don't even know if that's a great thing considering how the Orioles have been so trolly to me against the lefty, but that's kind of what I would brace for. If they do knock a Warren or a Carrasco out of the game soon, it'll be a Yarbrough spot. So give me offense right now. There's really no redeeming qualities in Sagano for DFS on almost an any size slate, but especially one with 6+ games. So I'm going no on Sagano interest, and Will Warren, you can make a case, but I don't want to invest in it. So I'm gonna go offense only, but we do have to put pitcher projections in here. So Will Warren, I'll give him his 24% K rate. Sagano, I'll give him gotta give him 8. I gotta give him what he's got. And then for Warren, I'll give him there's a lot of lefties there. I'm gonna give him a 10% walk rate, and that might be a little conservative. And then for Sagano, go 6%. What up, Self? Hope you've been all right. Will Warren. I'm at 15.5 with juice on the under. 15.5. So both guys 15.5 on the outs. Keeping it moving. Actually, we just got an Orioles lineup, so let me lock that in. Mullins, Henderson, Adley, Ryan O'Hearn, Ryan Mountcastle. Ramon Laureano. The other day they had O'Hearn batting cleanup, and he was plus 900 to homer. and the spreadsheet thought that like plus 500 was a fair odd. Let me see, what's Will Warren's lefty splits? Does have a high ground ball rate. But what does it think that a fair odds for Ryan O'Hearn should be? $532. Yeah, you get 900, so you get a $400 spreadsheet implied value, or 400 point implied value. Matter of fact, a lot of the Orioles are giving us some value. The ones at the top though, like the Gunnar Henderson, I think Henderson was at the top of Baltimore. Yeah, he is. I got him at 497, fair offer. They got him at 550, so a little bit of value, but when it's like within 100, I don't sweat it. But I think O'Hearn is the most intriguing because you're just getting a cleanup hitter with a 180 plus ISO. I don't know, I just feel like that's a good chip in a chair. So something to keep in mind. Let's go back to pitcher props. Little bit of value. Move on to St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Cardinals have a 4.8 run total. Reds have a 5. Andre Payante taking on Nick Martinez. Payante, another pretty contact guy. Nick Martinez closer to contact. He does have a 10% swing and strike rate. So does Payante actually, but he's a design contact guy. We are getting about a 1 in 5 consistent K rate out of Martinez the last 3 seasons. So he is facing a Cardinals team that this version of the projected lineup does offer more strikeouts than typical. But Newbar, Brendan Donovan, Nolan Arenado, and Mason Wynn all have pristine K rates in and of themselves. So his lane to get strikeouts is really good when it gets to that 5 through 8. He's going to want to mow them down. A bunch of negative WRC pluses and high K rates. So, man, I don't know that I can type either pitcher's name. Are we gonna get to better names? We got Flaherty, yes. Miami, sure. That's a tough slate for pitching, boys. It's a tough slate for pitching. Yeah, you might have to sprinkle in Nick Martinez here and there. What up, Earth to Air? We're doing all right. And then Payante, even though he's a contact pitcher, it's not like he's a gas can. Yeah, he does have a high home run per 9 on both sides of the plate this year. But like I said, these type of ground ball rates can be a stack killer. The 66% ground ball rate to righties, 68% to lefties. You know, that's negative launch angle, ball going straight into the ground. Even when you do give up a hit, it could set up the double play. So you're kind of hoping to capitalize on these long balls. A 4.69 expected ERA though, not in his favor, over $1.25 on the whip. And if you're gonna be a contact pitcher, you need to not walk hitters, and that's kind of a problem for him, especially against righties. So this Reds team in Great American Ballpark, we got some righties that draw walks. Matt McClain, almost a 13.6% walk rate since the beginning of last year against righties. Ellie draws walks, but he can do anything, and he could tap into some of these power problems as well that we've seen this year from Payante. Then you go into like Spencer Steer, another righty that can jump into this walk rate. So you gotta like the red stack, I think, at the top ballpark considered. And then you get this Cardinals team in a plus ballpark. Now, just out of curiosity, Lars Newbar, I think he's the guy that jumps off the page for us anytime we think about the Cardinals. But, you know, the Cardinals play a majority of their games in one of the tougher hitter parks, especially for power. And then you go into Great American, which is essentially the best park for power. A little bit interested to see if he would have a large increase in homers here. Ironically, this year he would have the same amount. Last year, he had 12 homers on the season. He would have had 18 in Great American, which would have been, you know, a +6. That's freaking huge. The season prior, 14 homers, would have had 19. The season prior, 14 would have had 20. So this could be a fun series for him in a ballpark that can really reward his swing. So gotta like looking at him. And Nick Martinez can give up homers to the lefties for sure. And then neither bullpen scares me too much. Naturally, the Cardinals bullpen home run per 9 isn't that crazy, but that's going to be a product of Busch Stadium. I think you put them in Great American, be a little bit more neutral to over 1. So we'll go Reds and Cardinals as our listed stacks. I think you might have to spin the wheel, make a deal with some not fun pitching on this slate. And it's not, the Reds are certainly not immune to scoring 0 in games. Coming out of Coors, they've been hot. So I'm gonna list offenses first, but I do know that tonight when we start blending our lineups out there, we're gonna have some ugly SP2s, and it might involve a couple of these pitchers. By the way, we do have a Reds lineup: TJ Friedl, Matt McLean, Ellie De La Cruz, Austin Hayes, Gavin Lux, Noel V, Marte, Ben 6th, Spencer Steer, Ben 7th, Braley, and Trevino. Boom. Man, it's kind of a rough day. Matriculate on to the next game. Athletics taking on the Rangers. Athletics have a 4.9 run total. Well, any weather quirks there? Nah, it's almost 80 degrees out there. And we about to kick open the dog days. 4.9 for the Rangers as well. Pair of southpaws, JP Sears and Patrick Corbin. Stop me if you heard this one before. Sears pitched against Texas 5 days ago. 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 earnings. That was in a I'll say tougher park, but let me go check out the roof and Globe Life. I'd assume it's closed, but because I think it's been like raining. Let me double check. Got nothing on this Twitter account. I guess we'll have to keep checking. I'll have to check back later. I got nothing on the roof. I'm assuming it's gonna be closed. The Arlington weather. It might get freaky actually. I don't think it's gonna rain tonight up there. I'll make it a point to come back and check that. The pitching matchup itself, though, typically hitter friendly. But man, the Rangers have been kind of in a skid here. But I do like their lineup a little bit more against lefties with some fun clicks. The Kevin Pillars, the Kyle Higasiokas kind of sprinkled in there for free. But those are plays I like when we have 10K pitchers to go out and find a little value. I don't really think we need that. We will like Wyatt Langford for sure. I guess Jake Berger, yeah. We just click the high ISOs here, take advantage of that, and then inversely against Patrick Corbin, Spider Corbin. He just pitched against the Athletics 5 days ago. 7 hits, 2 bombs, 2 walks. That looked a lot more like Patrick Corbin baseball than whatever the freak that was against the Angels. Even though it was, for Patrick Corbin standards, not the worst game. I think I'm gonna go Athletics, then Rangers, and then neither pitcher is somebody I want to get to, but I gotta keep saying it. This might be an ugly SP2 pitcher night. So if you are a complete disbeliever in Rangers offense and you think you can squeeze 16 out of JP Sears, or inversely you get that Angels outcome from Patrick Corbin, I get it, man. You just got to make some bold decisions on this slate for DraftKings. Might be more of a Fanduel one pitcher night for me. As far as who stands out hitter wise, man, who doesn't, right? Patrick Corbin dipping into these righty splits, a lot of power allowed to righties. Brent Rooker all day, every day, has been so consistent for the top of the bomb detector in terms of great grades. Has a 313 ISO since the beginning of last year against left-handed pitching. And I imagine if I go shake up the bomb detector right now, we likely don't have to go too far before we get to Brent Rooker. Yeah, there he is, 4.16, giving us a 17% probability and a plus 502 fair market odd for him to homer. And the books have him at 235. Boy, you're paying taxes. You're paying taxes. But maybe that's also a tell on the roof. Jeez, 235 for Brent Rooker. That's crazy. Well, Brent Rooker's a guy that stands out though. Shea Langoliers as well. 1 through 4 I love a lot. And then you kind of mix and match below. Jacob Wilson's been great. Kurtz we know is going to be great. So just a fun athletic stack to get to. What's up, Andy? Kind of like the Athletics and the Braves tonight. Yeah, Athletics for sure make a ton of sense. A ton. We're gonna move on here to the next game. Some home run terror, dude. That's why that's my favorite thing we've added to the spreadsheet so far this year is actually putting an odds to like bomb detector ratings, because it's crazy the taxes that the books get away with on some of these guys, and these are the most popular home run bets. Like same, we go to PrizePicks, I think they tell us what the most popular like props are, and anytime we go to like homers and stuff, it's usually like Judge and Ohtani, the worst people you could ever want odds to homer. And people are on it. I'm just like, man, they're just getting away with it. The Judge is like often below 250, plus 250 to homer, and he's always at the top of the bomb detector typically. Today he's actually somehow not. He's at 16% with a 523 fair odd, and you're never gonna get that for Aaron Judge probably for a couple years. But yeah, and that's why I like finding the middle to long shot value, like we mentioned earlier with Ryan O'Hearn. But some of these guys kind of sneak up here sometimes. So Wyatt Langford got him at a 17%, which gives us like a plus 500. So in the same game, Langford's at 320. Dude, this whole game is super taxed actually. Like there's no one in this game until we get to, ironically, Soderstrom, who was like the league leader for a couple weeks in bombs. You get all the way down here. You get Nick Kurtz at 1100. I don't know. Well, I got Kurtz at, I got him at 651. So you get a 700 odds boost. But Nick Kurtz, this guy was good. Like he's a top prospect. 11 homers, 122 at bats in the minors. Is it super splitty? So let's go this year. It's lefties, yeah, just 1 homer and 30 at bats last year. Nothing. All right, so I guess I get it. Super splitty. That man, they put taxes on everything. Tigers and the Astros. Oh wait, have I been doing? Oh my god, I ain't been doing pitcher projections. Come on. So 14% on Payante, Nick Martinez. 20%. Walk rate. 9%. Nick Martinez. quiet Monday, huh? Just say it's quiet in this Pentecostal church today. Woo! Just feels like a quiet Monday, man. Nothing happening. 8% on Pierce's walk rate. A rate of 20. Corbin 16%. We'll go 8.5. He walks lefties a lot. Let's go find some outs. $17.5, $16.5. $17.5 for Nick Martinez, dude. Nick Martinez might end up looking good in the projections. Good in context of this slate. Actually gave us 5.7 Ks. Jesus. All right, let's get into some actual talent on the bump, right? Zach Flaherty taking on Ronel Blanco. Tigers have a 3.7 run total. Astros 3.9. Flaherty so good. This beginning of last year, sustaining a 30% K rate, 12 to 13% swing and strike rate. XFIP is great. Expected ERA 3.5 for 2 years running. Just been really good. He's facing an Astros team. This projected, not an insane strikeout team, but sometimes when you get pitchers at a 30%, you just got them at a second tier and you kind of go with the flow anyway. Today, more than ever, you're kind of leaning on Flaherty because he's easily the best pitcher on the slate pre-flop in terms of individual talent and probably pitch count. 96, 98, his last two outings. And we talk about strength of schedule. He's had the Dodgers, he's had the Yankees, he's had San Diego, and he's walked away with some very serviceable games. And it usually at 10K, I'm not getting excited for mid-20s, but today, 20 plus is 20 plus. I'm not, you know, but 20 plus is 20 plus, and I'm taking Flaherty. I think you just have to on this slate. So even if it's an ugly 20. I'll get you some. And I think because of the lack of talent, how shallow this pool is, he's going to have inflated ownership. So if you are managing a larger portfolio of lineups, you know the drill. Go on, get you some Astros, high leverage, low exposure opportunity, meaning, you know, 5%. That might even be too much. Exposure to the Astros stack will put you way above the field, so Flaherty does cave in or gets yanked early. We've seen that a few times lately. Some injury bug going around. Knock on wood, Jack. But you know what I mean. You just play that range of outcome where something goes awry. Blanco on the other side, 20% K rate for him this season, 13% swing and strike rate, almost a 1.4 whip, but his lefty splits are this big bugaboo, man. A 1.9 home run per nine to lefty so far this season, and that's just been steady Eddie, man. 1.67 aggregate the last 3 years. A walk rate in the double digits. His walk rates are increased to both sides of the plate versus league average, but especially the lefties. Tigers, Kerry Carpenter, carry on my wayward son, should totally be the guy that takes advantage of this spot. He hits for average, great ISO, incredible WRC plus, and doesn't walk that much. He brings his bat to swing it, but maybe he gets into a favorable hitters count here. So Tigers stack probably the next step here for me on my in-game interest. And then looking at his walk problem, with Kerry being a decent OBP guy, Glaber and McKinstry and Riley Green, man, even this whole lane right here, 2 through 7, They walk a lot. They also strike out a lot, but usually when these two numbers are high, the K rate and the walk rate, means they get into a lot of high count at bats. So might be worth looking at like a Blanco pitch count, even if it's not just the first inning, which you know, you can get him at 15 and a half. We'll take that. Sometimes they open this up for the second, third inning and stuff like that as well. But I kind of like that Blanco to have to be using a lot of pitches here against numbers that look like that. So maybe Flaherty first, Tigers 2. I do think because Blanco has a 1-5 K rate on how ugly this slate is, and the Tigers can strike out 1-4. I think you get to some Blanco at 8,300. I just don't think you're ever gonna expect with great confidence a quality start. He did go 6 innings against Toronto, but didn't fluff much. He had one more strikeout than walk. And he's just not he's not gonna pad the strikeouts here. So I think there's a case on DKs or spin the wheel, make a deal at SP2, give me 20. Not an outlandish range of outcome. But on Fanduel, I don't know that I'm as eager because I really want a 6-inning pitcher implied for the win. It's a kind of a pick 'em, a coin flip. What's up, Philip? Been watching you for like 10-15 minutes now. You could save yourself so much time if you use. Oh my god, is that a bot? McKinstry probably good for a stolen base here. He's been doing that for the Tigers. He hit well in Houston too. Blanca, yeah, Blanca. High walk pitchers, man, they're just not it. All right, let's go do what's up, McCrease? We'll do a upgrade. Not a bot. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. It looked like a AI typing. I'm used to on Twitch we get a lot of bots. Go Blanco at a 20% K rate. Flaherty. Give him a 7.5. Yeah, this K rate number or this walk rate number for Blanco. We'll go 12%. Dead even. Go 17.5 on Flaherty, 15.5 on Blanco. Although I think for Flaherty, I'll go like 17.9, and then Blanco would do 15.5, and I'll give Flaherty a couple of points towards a QS. I'll give him 2. Wonder what who we got Blanco's walks at. JR. They got it at 1.5, but it's a goblin. The projection came out about 1.6, but I think that's a little soft. What's up, Travis? Oh man. Minute Maid roof. Any lean on that? Yeah, Detroit's kind of surprising in a lot of stats, to be honest. Don't say anything on Minute Maid roof. So I'm gonna make a note for Minute Maid roof and Globe Life roof, both the Texas teams right now. Yeah, nothing's popping up. Keep an eye on that. Seattle's been top 3 in like WRC plus, or like just like runs, like just straight up overall. God dang, you're right. What the freak? Second to the Yankees. Yeah, you would expect the Cubs. I don't know, man. There's just one Twitter account that's just been exposing war lately, and just crazy comparisons where this guy's better than that guy, and it's just like nobody versus, I don't know, Don Mattingly. How the freak is Seattle up there? I feel the Cubs would easily be number 1 with their hit tool and their stolen base. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. You run homers. Seattle's 3rd. I mean, that's some crazy company, dude. Angels are kind of crazy too. But if you tell me, hey, Arizona, Dodgers, Yankees, what's the other team in your top 4 of all? I would say Chicago snap call, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's actually kind of mind blowing. Or 3rd in stolen bases? Wow. Yeah, Jorge Blanca has been really good. But a 237 average. Batting average matters. Dang, that's funny. Yeah, no, we're cruising today, dude. I'm like 2 games left on a Monday stream, and it's not even 2 yet, so I don't mind some baseball chatter. Yeah, that's funny. Actually, I really wouldn't have guessed that. I would have got there eventually, but I would have ran through. Honestly, I don't even know that I would have been like Yankees are number 1, but I guess so. I definitely would have thought the Dodgers have really going backwards. I guess mostly wins, but man, they started out so hot and then hit a skid. The D-backs have been steady Eddie. D-backs are so consistent. I just hate that division for them as we get into the grinder, but the Dodgers just keep running into injuries. What lineup just came out on the Mets lineup? Yeah, and they're about to get Cattell back, dude. They make a mid-season change. We finished the projection on these pictures. Yep. All right, only 2 more games, man. This is easy. This is easy. We'll go back and update lineups and shoot it up though. The Braves at the Rockies. We're going Coors Field. 5.8 implied run total for the Braves. The Rockies a 4.5. Is that like the minimum you've ever seen? I think in yesteryears we saw like a 3 on like a Max Scherzer start like 8 years ago, something like that. But man, that feels really, really low. Bryce Elder's not him, dog. That really just shows how much the Rockies suck. Wow. Okay. Well, clearly we don't have to split the atom here. Braves are going to be number 1 on the interest ranking. And it's going to be cover boy Austin Riley. That really makes a ton of sense here. But Riley, Ozuna, Olsen, Sean Murphy, that's a really fun 2 through 5 in the projected against Feldner, who is a contact guy, sub 20% K rate for 3 years running, allowing power to both sides of the plate. That's not what you want. That's not what you want, especially against these 2 power righties. Really 3, man. Riley, Ozuna, and Sean Murphy. They've kind of been putting together some long balls lately. A couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were really on Austin Riley's baseball savant, looking sexy. If it's still been as sexy, Yeah, he's still up there in barrel rate, hard hit, sweet spot. This I love this stat. LA sweet spot. Top 7% in exit velo, top 7% max velo. And we go to batted ball. This season he has a 35.1% pull plus air percentage, and that was the secret sauce of the bomb detector. So that's gonna play really well in cores if he keeps that up. So just a really good spot for the Braves power righty. It's a really good spot for the Braves, but yeah, liking this quite a bit. I don't want to pitch Elder. I mean, the Rockies absolutely suck, but Elder's just not a design strikeout guy. And then I guess I gotta go Rockies second. So fill out our projections here. Elder, I'm gonna give him a 15% K rate. Feltner, give him the 19. Oh, these are walk rates. Elder, put him at 8.5% walk rate. Feltner, 8.5 there. So Vegas is telling us on out 17.5, 15.5. Man, we might have to play Elder just to eat out setup. Cheap price, 78. It's not that cheap. Bryce Elder on the bump, throwing that Weenie Hunt Jr. slider. Rockies hitting 3 homers minimum. The Rockies have had some flashes of just usable DFS stuff. Jordan Beck, Hunter Goodman, Ryan McMahon, and even Talia has shown us some power, right? They just suck. And like yesterday, they look like they should have been formidable, and they sucked. It's gonna happen. Rockies suck. But a lot of times you just gotta stack the ballpark and kind of go with it. I went extra on it yesterday with the win models, but yeah, I'm just trusting years of process here with throwing the Rockies in a blender against a contact guy and hoping for the best. Both bullpens really leave a lot to be desired as well. And I'm not even really needing to split the atom on who's coming out for ATL, but if we want to. Looks like all their top guys would be available. So, yeah. Yeah, 9% carry to yeah. Talia sucks. Don't get me wrong; they all suck. But Talia is always up there in the bomb detector. And today, he's at 395, so 16% implied odds. I imagine you're not going to get anyone in cores for anything. Let's go hitter props. I imagine everyone in cores is going to be like 300 or 400. 425 is not the worst tax job. Austin Riley's at 390. I hate Austin. Ironically, Austin's lower, 544. I think it has to do with Feltner's, I don't know, ground ball rate is kind of low. Hard contact's kind of low. The barrel rate's kind of low. He's getting kind of, I guess, is he getting cord? The magical numbers in the bomb detector are pull rate, fly ball rate, line drive rate, and barrel rate. And while Feltner does allow a lot of homers, his hard contact rate is kind of low. His barrel rate kind of low. Ground ball rate isn't extreme, or his fly ball rate isn't extreme, and neither is line drive. So that is kind of suppressing Austin's bomb rating. But I'm not going to overthink that much, but that I just want to put some context to why we're not seeing him number one right now. And out of curiosity, let's see if we're getting a big home away splits for from no, we're actually getting the opposite. Okay, what about last year? Dude, okay, last year was a little bit more what you expect. $1.25 at home, a little under 1 on the road. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Yeah, Colorado don't do no favors. I've also been walking the lefties at a high clip, but yeah, we're going offenses here. Not really much else we got to do. One game left on the docket. We'll do a pause for the cause before we break down the Dodgers game and refresh some lineups. If you guys are new to the stream, we are inputting all the daily information into the MLBgrind.com VIP spreadsheet. We do this every day. A lot of times we'll do the night before is where I input as much as I can the night before so that people have something to get up and research with. But the spreadsheet is designed to be a research aid, a companion to your daily grinding for baseball, whether it be for DFS or for prop betting. It is a great tool to expedite that research process. And we've also added the bomb detector, which is something that has been world famous over the last couple of years. We got the pitch report comparing the pitchers' stuff, usage of pitches versus hitters' results against those type of pitches in the last year, kind of cross-reference what they might be looking at. We've also added projections for the pitchers. We got fantasy projections as well. All this really fun stuff to add to your repertoire of tools. So if you want access to this, and if you want access to the MLB Grind VIP Discord, go to MLBgrind.com and click Premium Membership. There's a week pass, month pass, and the rest of the season pass. Sign up, then click Members Portal, and there's your links. And then hop into Discord, say "yeah," and introduce yourself, man. We love having baseball nerds to sweat the slate with and tilt. It's a lot of tilting, but it's fun. Fun though. Yeah, and the cruisy. And again, those odds are based on like our formula, our model. Every model is different. Like people have aggressive K models, it's conservative, blah blah blah. But it definitely puts it like man, you're paying way too much for that Aaron Judge Ohtani parlay. You know what I mean? The Vladdy. And people, I get those every day. Yo, what do you think about this? And I'm like, those people look good for homers, but you're paying so much. And implied probability is just something that the casual bettor has no grasp on. They're just clicking stuff. So we're gonna do it. What up, Choke? Hope you're doing all right. You don't tilt, just check in the morning. That's fun. I feel like for basketball, there's no point in sweating until the fourth quarter, dude. How many times a guy goes scoreless in the first 5 fantasy points at half and still kind of get there? Like I never got tilting that. With baseball, you can sweat. You know, your 4 or 5 at bats a game, and your whole lineups. Like you can kind of sweat that. Once you get to running 150, then yeah, whatever. But I feel like baseball is the most sweatable because it's so slow that you can bounce around to your pitchers on the MLB TV, bounce around to your hitters at bats. You can have the 4-box going. I do love that aspect of the sweat. But yeah, man, back in the day, we used to sweat every second. Appreciate that, Andy. Yeah, late swap in NBA sees us. Yeah, the home run tariffs, dude. They're crazy. All right, main event tonight. Marlins and the Dodgers. 3.3 run total for the Marlins. 5.4 for the Dodgers. So we don't even have to think about it. We're going to put Dodgers at the top of the interest ranking. Augustin Ramirez, what does he got to do to get a price point here, man? He's just been going off. And we've been on him here. If you've been in in this stream, I've been telling y'all, catcher sucks. Go play this guy. It doesn't really matter their matchup. And just like every day, except the 26th, he's giving you home run points. Yesterday, he gave you 2 homers. Clearly, he's not gonna do that every game forever. He's having like a Gary Sanchez start kind of. But he's good. He's great. He's got a 1. OPS in the minors, and essentially for the catcher spot, as a guy that's between cleanup and today projected batting 3rd, the value in the price point versus the implied at bats versus the talent, he just should be a 4K catcher every day, 4,500 maybe, and he will be. So you can keep playing him while he's cheap, even if you don't love the matchup. Now this matchup I'm not that scared of. It is Dustin May. He's not known for a ton of power in the small sample size we have the last 2 seasons, but again, if you're gonna dare somebody to put the barrel on the ball, and you're gonna eventually get to a spot where the teams start respecting him, but I just think right now it's still too cheap. So keep that in mind when you're building your lineups here. Fanduel, no one ever plays catchers on Fanduel, especially the cheap ones. He could be a fun way to get unique on the late slate or something like that. We got to have an Edward Cabrera conversation. This is one of the more erratic yet talented pitchers in baseball. He has a 27% K rate with a 15% walk rate to righties, a 10% walk rate to lefties. He's got great stuff, doesn't always know where it's going. and that could become a problem against a team like the Dodgers, who are super talented and looking for kind of a breakout game. And we've got some insane numbers, particularly against righties since the beginning of last season. Is this a 380 ISO from Shohei? Mookie's over 200. Freddie Teoscar's having a great year. Tommy Edman, kind of prefer him on the lefty split here, but he's looking good. This entire Dodgers lineup is looking like a problem here, and Cabrera has shown a propensity to allow bombs here. So it's a very volatile matchup. There is a range of outcome where Edward Cabrera goes out there and somehow doesn't die and maybe strikes out 7 or 8. But I think he's just so volatile that the likeliest outcome is that the Dodgers do give it to him. But I think on this slate, the Dodgers, I don't know, I would assume the Athletics and the Braves project the highest own. That's just, I haven't looked. That's just my assumption. Maybe the Yankees knock on the door. So the Dodgers wouldn't be less than 4th highest in stack ownership, especially with pitching being so cheap today. But either way, they got to be at least top 4. And then Edward Cabrera, AK, with a 27% K rate, probably goes unused. So might be worth in the back end of your 100, 150 if you're simming or optimizing to get a share of that. 22% aggregate K rate for this Dodgers team. Let it be known, I'm way more on the Dodgers than Edward, but I understand that there's a range of outcome where Edward kind of shocks us. Give me Dodgers here. Dustin May, a 21% K rate on the season, a $9,500 price point on DraftKings so far. I think he's I guess that 95 pitches was a good sign. I was worried about him kind of being around 80 pitches with bubble wrap, and then Tyler Glasnow happens and they just adds to this incredible list of pitchers on their IL. There's a guy they want to keep safe. 10 hits in that game against Chicago. Was that one of those win games? 5 strikeouts. Marlins are certainly a more damp offense where you can go out there and get your strikeouts. 26% aggregate K rate. But they're kind of sprinkling in a little bit of scrappiness. Wagaman, Otto Lopez, Xavier Edwards, Jesus Sanchez, and we talked about Augustin Ramirez. Those aren't like free outs here. So I'm not super enthralled on a normal slate. Dustin May at this price versus these Marlins, I wouldn't be jamming it. But I do think on this slate, when it's just Jack Flaherty in terms of talent, like I said, 20 fantasy points, that just might play out of your SP2. And it almost doesn't matter what you pay to get it, right? You just got to get the 20. And I think Dustin May has a strong enough chance. He's certainly implied heavily to pick up some win points. I think we put him second. And then I'm gonna go, let's say Marlins Substack, because I do think May's gettable. And then I'll go Cabrera, deep GPPs. How about that? How about that? Last year in the spot, Edward walked the bases loaded and gave up a grand slam to Muncy. Uh-oh. Would you be comfortable leaving 1900 on today's slate and 20 max? Choke, I'm gonna be honest, I don't pay attention to that. Especially if I'm scripting it. It's not really a value-based sport. I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know how you're doing it because whatever. But there's a lot of expensive teams that look good, right? You get the 6K Dodger stack. You get the 5+K Brave stack. The Athletics are kind of up there, so it feels like there's somebody on your lineup that could become Ohtani or Judge or somebody like that, and you know, pre-flop you're always going to make that move. But I don't ever set parameters, not like basketball where it is a value sport. But I don't think I ever really notice a big like hole in terms of salary used. I expected to spend most of it, but yeah, I would not run a lineup that followed a set of rules that you made, whether it be a stack or you know, an underpriced pitcher. I would not run that lineup just because you don't feel good about 2K salary in baseball. Me personally, I don't set a min salary. We'll just run off projections. Me personally, all right, that is our slate. We do have some lineups that came out confirmed. All of the first two games are in, and then we'll run the pitcher projections here for the main slate, and we'll get everything set up for the Vipers. Chat, we got 42 people. Could 42 of y'all beat a gorilla in a fight? What if the gorilla had one arm? I know the question is 100. This little Twitter debate has been filling up my feed. And I've been seeing people draw their ideal roster to fight a gorilla. One of them said 2019 Randy Orton, and that sent me, bro. Jasper, Jonah Bride, Harrison Bader. I don't know, man. I feel like I just want to be friends with the gorilla, dude. Why are we fighting a gorilla? Like, yeah, you give me Ray Lewis, 2019 Randy Orton, Suge Knight and his entourage, Bo Jackson. Start naming the most random. When we start getting movie characters involved. Give me the A team, bro. Mr. T in there. I take the gorilla unless the 100 men have a very good game plan. Hey man, some of us are gonna die, all right? That's just what it is. But he's gonna get tired. Gorillas and elephants always been my favorite animals, dude. Dude. Like gorillas don't be bothering nobody, man. They're just chilling. Leave them alone. I want to fight them. It would be fun though. Like that's what we should be doing with AI, bro. F all this deep fake getting fake press conferences, bro. Somebody deep fake me. That way we don't have to torture animals. Go give me the grizzly bear versus a silverback. AI video. That's what I want to watch. Did we do it for? We didn't do that for Cabrera, did we? Harambe, yeah, dude. That took over the country, yeah. 27% K rate for Cabrera. Give me 14%. I'm gonna give him 14% walk rate. I'm doing it. 20% K rate for May. Let's go 9.5. Let's see what Vegas has on outs for these guys. $17.5 on the out for May. They got him implied for 18. Dang, dude, that's gonna suit him in the projections without a doubt. They're going 15 on Cabrera. I mean, I guess I'll give him 2 towards the QS. Didn't I give 2 to Flaherty earlier? What happened? Did I type it somewhere? Did I F up a code somewhere? I thought I gave him 2 for sure. Huh. No. We'll figure it out. We'll do it live. We'll get the early slate out of here. So people with the premium membership and will be grind. Our initial pitcher projections are now live. Wait, I'm doing this backwards. No. Mother. There we go. Yeah, Dustin May shot up to number 1 because of him being implied for 18 outs. I mean, I'm not gonna try to outsmart Vegas in that line, but somewhat surprising to me. What do I know? And twins. All right, and their main slate stack rating: Dodgers number 1, Yankees, Braves, Athletics, Texas, Baltimore, and Colorado. The team in Coors has the lowest stack rating because they suck. He's fat. All right, Crease, take it easy. What up, Power? Like 8 times stronger, and dudes are gonna be scared when old boy starts ripping limbs off. I'm telling you, 100 people have to be not scared of death, because somebody's gonna die. They just are. But it is what it is. Let's see. Reds lineup we got. Yeah, no, Cardinals lineup came out. Noop. Foreman, Jordan Walker. Chat, so we should have another day stream tomorrow around 1 p.m. I'm gonna put this out there. I just got word that they're replacing my roof tomorrow. I don't know what that means. Like, I just envision a crane lifting the roof off like a Lego. Would probably just means it's gonna be a bunch of dudes walking on my house. Hopefully it's no big deal, and I don't have to interrupt my streaming, but right now, as it stands, stream should be 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central. Right now, dude, we could push these streams back, dude. I didn't realize. Well, tomorrow's a bigger slate. Tomorrow we'll stick with 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. No, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. But today I probably could have done it too. That's a quick one. I could have took an old man nap myself. Get some headphones or hotel. I don't really mind. I mean, I won't be here most of the day. I'll just be here for the stream, and when all my bets are placed or my lineups are in, I go out there, enjoy the world. But I don't know how long it's gonna take. All right, chat, that's gonna do it. I appreciate you guys hanging out on a Monday. I'll be in the Run DF, or excuse me, wow, the MLBgrind.com. Rest in peace, Run DFS. What a good run. MLB Grind Discord later if you need me. Otherwise, MLBgrind.com. Grab yourself a membership. Come play with us. Tell somebody you love them out there today. Love you guys. Good luck. And God bless. Go win some money.